So having said what I said in the last podcast, I'll focus now on why do I live off the grid? Why do I live off the grid? By Alex Ansary. Initial thoughts without a script. New Year's Day, 2017. I'm concerned about your world. I'm concerned about the number of people in your world that are concerned or have possibly been concerned that I was a threat to them when they saw me in the market and identified my Middle Eastern appearance, seeing that Middle Eastern humans are being demonized as rapists and worse, and that there's a gray line. There's a gray line. And a lot of people have blurred those lines between someone with a Middle Eastern background and Muslim, and that it's just constantly associated with being a foreigner. In fact, there was someone that said, Alex, you don't have to worry about Donald Trump deporting you. Why would this person claim to be a fan of mine and say that? Deport me where? To Portland? Because I was born in Portland. Why are people constantly taking my concerns and associating it with the concern of an immigrant? In fact, if anything, all I've done is immigrated into a fucking alien dimension as the last few years, because last time I checked, my birth certificate says I was born in Portland, Oregon. So, your world is very concerning to me. Its lack of awareness, how computers and AI could flag names that are Islamic and it not just be about, those that are actually of a religious background. And the fact that enough of you don't care makes your world scary. The fact that you think that the left is open. I went back to Portland with a backpack and all I had was a teardrop camper. The one guy who helped me build the teardrop camper ended up accusing me of stealing his tools. His name was 8-Digit PDX. And I confided in this person that I thought was a friend who offered his help to me to build a teardrop camper. And the man accused me of stealing his tools. And because I smoked pot, he and his friends were calling me a junkie. And he still to this day has not apologized. Well, because he hasn't found his tools. You fucking put me down for my ideas about Portland being a shithole. And then aspects of the Portland shithole end up fucking you. And you blame the dude that was talking about Portland being a shithole. This world has turned into a shithole. And this world is on fire. And there's no guarantee I will be allowed to live in freedom for the rest of my life. I fear death stalking me, but I don't fear death itself. That sounds strange. In a way, I've been accepting my own death if it is to come before a certain age. If I was to be hunted, either because of my racial background or because of something that I said either in the past, now, or something to be said, or a documentary to expose something in the future, repercussions for actions. I will not be afraid. I will not be afraid. I will stand tall. And so through what I've experienced and what you think are these so-called loving left cities where I was told that it was all in my head when I said that people looked at me funny, and I made a special podcast for that to make sure that point is clear, how much that world hurt me. Otherwise, I would have stayed in Portland, as the racist Costilla said to all of us of different racial backgrounds, but not of their Hispanic family. Go back where you came from. Where are you from? Go back where you come. Go back to Portland? No. In fact, there's no one in Portland that even misses me. And there's one thing to actually miss someone. There's another to actually, help someone and make sure they're not on the streets when they're there. There's a difference. There's something that's actual friendship, and there's something that's not actual friendship. And it took a lot for me to leave that place and leave that world and start over. And I've done this now several times. And I've also seen groups of people or demographics be my fans for a while to just stand up and walk out and to face the wall on their way out. Fuck you, Alex. We thought you were different. We thought you thought just like us. We had no idea you had more of an independent nature to the way that you thought. Fuck you, motherfucker. I've seen enough people act like they were my friends years ago when I was different to not even hear from them now. Your world is a really scary place. A lot of you are really scary. And up close and up personal, it's like, oh, I thought it was all friendly over the emails and the messages. It's like a lot of that sometimes. It's like, where are the good people? And where is the love? Keep hearing about all these white women that are going Muslim. Well, I'm not Muslim, but I am a loving person who does in his own way seek to defend the sacred masculine and feminine and to address that within ourselves without confusing that with homosexuality. As a heterosexual male, identifying the sacred masculine and feminine within me. Am I really that crazy? Am I really that violent of a person with this type of a talk? Is this really muzzy talk? Muzzy, muzzy, muzzy. Yalla, yalla, yalla. Yay, 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 yay. Sorry, that's about all I can do. Maybe a little tambourine, like yay, yay, yalla, 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 yalla. Yeah, I'm not exactly your. Yeah, that's what I need around here. A bunch of wives running around my off-grid property. Yeah, that sounds like a brilliant move. Oh boy, we're like one of the worst. Um, no, there's a lot of things that are different about me than a lot of people that are literally from the Middle Eastern cultures. You got to understand, you got to differentiate between Middle Eastern human or someone with blood that comes from that part of the world, and there's also all this hatred towards those that are mixed, and people not even be able to identify. So it's like it hurts when people turn around, they look at me and they look me up and down, especially important, like, who are you and where are you from? And people have done that and nothing but that for most of my life. There are periods in which I was a cute little boy, and during those periods in which I was a cute little boy, I think there was the most affection even from my parents. It was when I grew up and also showed my independence and my rebellion towards the New Age religion and Islam, each in my own way, how it caused huge rifts and great anger from both of the archon archetypes called my parents, of which their anger has only grown and maintained itself to this day, like a sick, twisted form of psychic spiritual attack, while they themselves will accuse me of such, without addressing their own actions and their own past. Thou can do no evil, I can do no evil, but you can. You know, their motto, and you just didn't try enough in school. Here I am, see, I live outside your world because outside your world it is easier for me to live the independent path, and without harassment from so-called family. No Christmas cards this year. Got a birthday coming up that won't be acknowledged. I don't want to be acknowledged, certainly by my parents, because I certainly don't want to have anything to do with their archonic influence and the harm that they continue, if they have their way, to insult and to act like they don't even recognize or even understand the words of their own son, without even realizing the disrespect and harm done as those actions follow their earlier harmful actions. Their consciousness is no more. And like much of your world and your people and yourselves, much of your consciousness is no more. Your sense of empathy, of understanding, of not seeing me as a misogynist to those of you that are female that listen anyways, but actually understanding where the pain comes from, and why have I, after 10 years of the work, not seen true love or someone want to heal this pain, and people to tell me that I don't have a right to feel this way. I don't have the right to have the feelings of other men of your society that are more socially accepted. That I'm a fringe element that should just disappear and silence myself and kill myself. Or join your way of thinking. Everything is all fine. Oh, Donald Trump, or oh, Obama. Either way, you would accept me into your club and into your tribe if I would just pledge my allegiance to either, in the past, the present, or the future, or future candidates. That's all any of you really wanted from me. You just wanted me to endorse Clinton, Sanders, Trump, Obama, or someone. And because you didn't get that from me, it wasn't necessarily the racial thing, but it was the fact you were just going to put me in that extremist. But then, of course, your denial continued. Whether it be white denial, black denial, Hispanic denial. Alex, those people are not looking at you in the grocery store. You think they're a terrorist? Man, you're fucking out there. And you are fucking unable to understand that just because you may look at me a certain way doesn't mean that others aren't able to identify where my genetics come from. Or the fact that, I generate a very massive amount of body hair or facial hair that, if it to be removed from my body, would require constant maintenance and what you would call metrosexual behavior. Constant grooming, constant shaving. I would have to try to be a metrosexual to hide the hairiness of my genetic code from you, which has been laughed at, which has been mocked out, made fun of, but yet you don't identify that with racism when a white person is cracking up and calling me Wolfman when they see the hair on my back or my chest. And I'm supposed to feel bad that I have genetics from my father because your culture says I am a disgusting animal if I am not well groomed at all times. And it will call me also a disgusting animal or unattractive, and so will your women, if I choose to shave my head. So the curls are no gone. So I'm no longer a splitting image, an actual browner version, if you will, of the Boston Bomber. That's a wider face than me. I'm a more Middle Eastern face than the Boston Bomber as far as I'm concerned. In fact, I think it was like Eastern Europe, Russian. So you have a browner face like me and curly hair. You have more suspicion than what would be drawn to say someone that looks like the Boston Bomber, a splitting image. Whereas I'm almost a split side-off image with a browner shade, if you want to be honest. Bring up the image of USA Today if you don't believe me. The denial of you, my audience, towards how this world has treated me has been astronomical and has continued like a virus. And yet now you are actually seeing people go Arab this, kill them, kill the refugees, without realizing when I'm poor and wearing torn clothing, how different than an immigrant refugee must I appear when I'm in the supermarket shopping for food. As you absolutely deny there's anyone looking at me. You absolutely deny it. Your world is not safe. Your world is a very threatening place. Those of you that are women have grown incredibly cold, and yet you've developed these beliefs that you're loving and you support remotely by sending thoughts. Like what are these thoughts doing? These thoughts aren't doing anything. In fact, I feel more judgment than love from you, from your thoughts that do transmit. There's no denying that we're transmitters and receivers. I feel more judgment than you, telepathically and psychically, and anger for even bringing up certain issues that are hitting buttons than actual any form of love. Oh, we're concerned you're cold, and well, I'm stuck actually up here. Yeah. Has anyone in the last month come up here to get me the store for food? Any of you? Uber cost me $60. No, none of you. You're concerned that I'm cold? Yes, I'm warm enough, but I'm hungry. Okay, well, you just want to check. Well, now you fucking know. Oh, now you shouldn't go off grid. Oh, now you want to punish me. I am going to have what tens of thousands will never have, because they never worked for it or saw the writing on the wall. They thought I was a freak when I was warning them about these disasters yet to come. And now the threat to Portland is coming back on the radar. Many things that I warned you about are now coming to fruition. And few of you are even aware of this or noting this in the comments about what's happening with Russia and China. It's like a lot of you that are listening a few years ago are no longer with us. And a lot of you are brand new and you just don't have an interest in going to page 91 as I suggested that you do, or going to page 92, or going to page 93, or going to page 94, actually seeing what my past work is, jumping say 5-6 years by knowing how the URL works at the top of YouTube. You don't have to go back. You can actually go up and type in the page number once you start going back in the back videos. So say 133, what was I talking about there? Say 100 and page 77, but yeah, I have that much content. And I have loads of spiritual content for those that say they're just into that if you were to just seek that by itself. Or type in the word spiritual, or type in consciousness, or type in Gnostic, or type in meditation, or type in psychic protection. And you're going to get hundreds of videos discussing that alone if that's all you want. But see, I talked about this in the fundraiser video, how a lot of people don't support my work because they're offended by the diversity of the content, in my opinion. And the fact that I don't support their president. And that they think everything should be free. If they're okay with me not supporting the president, but they're not okay with supporting these broadcasts. And it's like, if anything, what little has come in has been the highlight of my life. Because to live in your physical world, in your physical cities, is far more insulting of an experience than dealing with even the haters on YouTube. At least the haters on YouTube may say that they hate and thumb down, but at least they keep coming back for more and help me increase the views and numbers. And that video is going to do very well. Explained. Well, you can't rationalize with a Trump voter. It's like, yeah, I'm getting all these views, I'm getting all this hate, but I'm getting all these particular views, and that's good. That's why I'm going to keep talking about things that are upsetting people, because if they're not going to support what I'm saying, but they're going to be coming over to hear what I'm saying, assuming that I'm being paid by Soros and the left, no, I'm going to give them an earful of truth. So in this regard, living off grid, doing YouTube, yeah, I may not have everything that I want, but I have everything that I need. So your argument that I would be better in the grid is bullshit to counter me perceivably whining about not getting a ride to town. That is the price that I'm willing to pay. And boy, does it feel good to be a man and to one day own the land under my feet. You could say all you want about eminent domain and taxes. I really don't have an issue with $150 in taxes per year. I have more of an issue with paying what you have to pay per month for something that we'll never even own, that you'll never even own. That is the bullshit. Got all these people basically on welfare, in my opinion, acting like they're real cops, getting paychecks, being considered legitimate members of society while they steal from others. I steal from no one. I steal and I take from no one. And I do not loan out money at interest or expect, if I was to give money out, for that person to become my slave or for me to control them. If money is to be given by anyone at any time in a donation sense, it is to be given freely and with love, unconditional love and support for the message. My advice to all those potentially considering donating: it's not about getting inside my head and changing the content of this channel. And to deny that there are people that have tried to do that with their donations is very sad. I need to constantly let the audience know where aspects of human consciousness actually is. Why your world is a threat to me at this point. Your world and its women will let a good man die in the street without even developing a website or GoFundMe. We got to help this guy. I've been listening to this guy for 5 years. You just sit in the shadows like you have no confidence. And yet some of you that are married have had the actual guts to ask me for off-grid advice. Yet you've actually shown no interest in my own life. Get the fuck out the door. Because I have no interest in just helping one-on-one married chicks that have this kind of, I like his voice and message on YouTube. Well, you've picked your protector. He's the one to help you. And if you aren't able to realize that he should be working a little harder to help you, honey, you got some problems. Honey, you have some problems. The male in your life should be pressed by you to work harder and be a better male. What are you doing allowing him to sit around eating Cheetos? So, there's a lot of reasons why your world is kind of threatening. And I'll come back with more and talk more about the geopolitical situation, the solar flare situation. But I'm going to be independent from dependence. I'm not going to be in any food riots. I'm going to have enough food stored up. And I'm going to be in a place to where if something were to happen in this place, I would go somewhere else within a few hundred miles in my RV, either in the forest and whatnot. And if I'm to die, I'm to die. I accept that now. But it's going to come about through natural causes or through someone attempting to murder me. I'm certainly not going to end myself because of the pain of living in your world.